I'm Yobachi 2007 back at you with another one. And that's Foxy Brown about to do this sucker. But before we get into that, we're going to come over here and look at some comments made by Jennifer Lawrence. You've probably seen this going around the last couple days. Jennifer Lawrence slammed for saying she was the first female action lead. So let's go back down to her actual comment and read this quote. I remember when I was doing Hunger Games. Hunger Games came out originally when about 2008, 2010, somewhere about that time. I remember when I was doing Hunger Games, nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie because it wouldn't work. Because we were told girls and boys can both identify with a male lead, but boys cannot identify with a female lead, Lawrence said in a short video. All right, so there's a modicum of truth in that, only in the aspect that the primary audience of action movies is males, right? Certainly before the last decade or so, by far, those who patronized the action movie genre were men or boys, and women may look more towards romantic films a little bit more. Not to say that there weren't any who were fans. Of course, there certainly were, but the majority it was predominated by male fandom, and of course, anybody more identifies, I guess, with what they with who they are, but men have always enjoyed female action leads since that started being a thing back in the 70s. And we're going to look at that. Maybe we can go from Ripley to Sarah Connor and so on and so forth. Those a couple of series. One started in 79. I guess the other one started in 80 out of those two. And we did a video previously here on Yobachi 2007 on my channel, the anti-woke strong female action hero lead, portraying or featuring Charlie Baltimore from the movie A Long Kiss Goodnight. And we were looking at that in contradiction to the woke female lead we have in the new series Wednesday. So we're going to get into this and look at one of the first female action leads from the 1970s, Pam Grier. So Pam Grier is best known for 1974's Foxy Brown, but that's not the first action movie starring female leads even. But before we take a look at these female action-led films from the 70s, please take a quick moment and consider subscribing to the channel, and definitely hit the like on this video if you like where we're coming from so we can push it through the algorithm. Appreciate that if you help me out with that, and we'll get back to the show. So this was a 1971 film starring Pam Grier called The Big Doll House. And we'll see that there are women action leads in this movie. This is the whole movie is starring women as the lead. So they're mud wrestling here, but here you go. You got two machine guns at one time, popular trope in later films. She did it before Rambo. Here we go. This lady's busting her gun. This was all well before in anything that Jennifer Lawrence did. Now, Pam Grier's Foxy Brown was probably one of the first characters to endure, but even before she did Foxy Brown, she did a character called Coffee a year right before in 73. And these two movies are largely the same. In Coffee, she's avenging the death of her sister, going after drug dealers for her sister's drug overdose. And in Foxy Brown, she goes after drug dealers, avenging the death of her boyfriend who was gunned down by drug dealers.
My name's Carter. I know where you want to, and you.
But here's the point with the female action lead. She is not here to make dudes look like they're all dopes and incompetents and that women can do everything and idiot men can do nothing. She's still a very feminine woman and she is still kicking butt at the same time. But we still like her. Look, she busts a gun, then she busts out the other guns. And this is the strong female lead that we like because she remains a female. She's not strong because she's more man than the men. She's strong because in her femininity, she can still exude the strength she needs to get the job done in this circumstance that she has to face and overcome her challenge, take on her hero's journey to avenge the death of her sister in this movie, and then to avenge the death of her boyfriend in Foxy Brown. Everything about Foxy Brown is all woman, and Foxy Brown endures in the American culture and psyche to this day. What are we now at? 45 years later, more than 35 years before Jennifer Lawrence and Katniss Aberdeen. uh, she was maybe the very first to be again an enduring character that we knew about, who was a female action lead. But as I showed you in a previous film that was 3 years earlier, and I'm sure there were others, female action leads are not something that was avoided. What we didn't have was just a proliferation of everything having to be infused. Every single movie having to have a strong, independent woman to show up the idiot men, where the women are always capable and know everything and can do it all, and no men can do anything. And 110-pound dripping wet women can beat up 210-pound men with with the slightest of effort and ease. And so that's the difference. That's the difference between the the woke action lead, female action lead, and the true female action lead that men respect and love plenty. There are plenty of female characters. We can go back further into the later '70s with Princess Leia. She grabs a blaster and shoots at the guards of the Empire. She shoots at Vader even when he came aboard her ship, and it's authentic, it's organic, it flows from a character, and yet she remains all woman throughout all three of those original films. It's not a woman being in a position of strength or a position of action that anybody has any problem with. What we have a problem with is trying to make women men and having to compete with men on film and making it a men against women sort of thing. And of course, the result of men against women, women good, men stupid, women competent, men idiots. We can just keep going through all of these different variations, and we can see that there's no problem with a female action lead. Many men love these characters. Again, Ripley is one of the most favorite characters of all of movie history by mostly men who enjoy action films through the Alien movies. And there's just so many of them, and it's been shown again and again that it's not a problem. What we don't need is all the wokeness and all the mansplaining lines and making men out to look like idiots and 110-pound women beating up bodybuilder men. It's ridiculous. But we love a good, strong female lead. So here's cheers to Foxy Brown and to other female leads who we love. Feminine women who have the strength to get the job done and the competence to take on their hero's journey. Once again, if you like what I'm doing here, please definitely subscribe to the channel. Take a look at the rest of the channel and see what we've got. And on your way out, definitely hit that like button. Let's push this one through the algorithm so we can let Jennifer Lawrence and others know that it's not about men can't look up to or see themselves in females, so there can be no female leads and blah, blah, blah. A bunch of man babies in caves don't want to see women being strong. Nonsense. We've loved these characters for decades, decades, longer than most of these men who you're calling uh, sexist men babies have even been alive. So, Yabachi 2007, I'm out with this one. We'll get back at the next one, and we're going to keep highlighting what the real strong female lead looks like and what real character development in film looks like, rather than these kind of two-dimensional female strong leads that Hollywood is throwing in our face now with the wokeness. Hibachi 2007. I'm out.